So at this point in the sterile procedure, I've already attached the 10 milliliters of water in the syringe to the catheter kit for the balloon. I have put my lubricant out on my tray. I'm going to go ahead and set my specimen cup up so I can get to it easier. And now I am doing the betadine solution. So I would squirt this out on the tray and discard of it. I put my trash bag over here, so I would be careful not to contaminate the sterile field when doing the cotton balls. So that's where I'm going to start now. So at this point, I'm ready to actually start the intubation process. So I would use my non-dominant hand to help me open the labia. So I would start cleaning the perineal area with the betadine solution, using one cotton ball at a time, and going around the field, the sterile field, to make sure I don't contaminate. Do the other side, go around. And I would keep doing this until I've used all of the cotton balls. And then I would discard of the tongs. Keeping the labia open with my non-dominant hand, I would take the tubing out and lubricate the tip of the tubing and begin to insert it into the urethra. It's a little difficult to do on the mannequin, but on a patient it would not be so hard to advance the tube. So I would advance the tube all the way until I see urinary flow out of it. I would then hold the tubing with my non-dominant hand to make sure that it doesn't slide out while I inflate the balloon with the 10 milliliters of water. And then I would disconnect the tubing and the syringe and discard of the tubing, or of the syringe, I'm sorry. And at this point the balloon is full, so it should not be able to slide back out of the urinary bladder. I would give it a little tug to make sure that it is steady and in place, and then I would advance it to make sure it's not back into the urethra, or into the urethra, and it's still in the urinary bladder. So now I would use my hand that is my dominant hand to take the tubing and the bag out of the sterile field. I'm going to use this hand to hold on to the tubing, and I would attach the bag to the bed frame, not the bed rail. And alright, and I would attach the tubing to the leg at this point. So now I can use this hand, which is the least contaminated, to pick up the specimen cup, and I would carefully try not to contaminate the specimen cup to collect a sample. So I would go down to the bag and open the tubing and try to keep it clamped while I allow the tubing, or allow the urine to flow into the specimen cup, reclamp it, put the lid on the container, and then I could put tubing back into the bag. Okay. So now I have my sample, and I could put the proper labeling on it to send it off to the lab. And at this point, if I needed to get another sample, another sterile sample, I would use the port on the tubing, because you can only get one sterile sample from the bag. That's all.